Welcome to Yoga.tv. Today I have Greg and Vanessa with me, and we'll be doing a simple yet powerful practice, focusing on some strong standing postures, some good twists, and of course a number of forward folds. One of the reasons why I'm really inspired to teach this class is that it's just something I've been practicing a lot recently, and I find often we underestimate the power of simple postures. And in particularly yoga, often we can get caught up in all the fancy tricks. And I know for sure that if you practice this regularly, it will create the necessary strength and mobility for you to then move towards those fancier tricks, you could say. So thank you for coming, of course. Let's take a few moments with your eyes closed. And if you haven't at home already taken a seat, just find a comfortable seat on your mat. And as you close your eyes, just let the tops of your shoulders fall down away from your ears. Let go of any clenching through your belly or your buttocks. And soften the tops of your thighs and allow for your body to descend a little heavier into the block or the floor below. And take a long, slow breath in through your nose. And take a long, slow breath out. Just continue that on your own, breathing deeply. Just starting the practice from a grounded and focused place. It's even an opportunity just to simply check in with where you are, sort of the current of life, you could say. And staying connected to your breath, staying aware of your body and where you are. Just slowly flutter your eyes open. You can adjust back to the light of the room and gently shift your weight forward onto your hands and knees into a tabletop position. Then separate your knees wider than your hips and come back into child's pose. You can point your toes and sink your bum back onto your heels. You'll see both Greg and Vanessa have stretched their arms out in front of them. Please know that at any time, this is a really wonderful place to come back to. If any time in the practice there is a certain posture that's creating an inappropriate sensation, or you're just feeling exceptionally fatigued, know that this is a nice place to come back to. I've given Greg and Vanessa instructions to take any type of modifications they need to if I don't suggest it. And I'm going to give you the same at home. If there's any time you need to modify a posture, whether it's using any of the types of props like a block or a strap or a blanket, please know you can do that at any time. And if you don't have any of these fancy props, often you can use a good hardcover book or even a belt from your, say your bathrobe, or just from your jeans, or maybe your husband's or yourself necktie. And a blanket most of us have at home. All right, from here, continuously stretch your arms out in front of you until you feel your elbows and your armpits lift up. So we're just starting to warm up the shoulders here. Continuously push your hands down into the ground. And again, take a long, slow breath in through your nose and a long, slow breath out. Staying grounded in your hands, slowly come up onto your hands and knees. You can bring your knees in a little closer towards each other, and then lift your knees and push back to downward facing dog, please. Both of them have been practicing for a number of times, so you'll see that they have beautiful downward facing dogs. In this particular shape, use your sticky mat as leverage. So push your hands down and forward to send the weight of your body back in towards your legs. And then use the weight as it shifts back towards your legs to get a little heavier through your heels. Then hold here for a few more breaths. One more big breath in and big breath out. On your next inhale, shift your weight forward into a high plank position. Just pause for a moment in high plank. So when we're looking at high plank, the optimal length of our plank is where your shoulders will be over the creases of your wrists and your heels will be over the balls of your feet. You can slightly lift your chin out of your chest and constantly draw your navel away from the band of your pants. Keeping this solid, long frame, as you inhale, shift your weight forward into the tips of your toes, and then as you exhale, lower as 1 unit slowly down onto your belly. Clearly, these are some strong practitioners as they lowered so well. Thank you. Point your toes back, press your pubic bone into the floor, and as you inhale, pull your chest forward and up into your first back bend, cobra position. And as you exhale, simply lay flat onto your belly. Tuck your toes underneath, and for the first transition, please keep your knees on the floor. As you inhale, push your hips back to your heels, keeping your knees on the floor, into what we often call puppy pose, which is similar to your child's pose, but all 10 of the toes stay tucked. You can see in both Greg and Vanessa that the arms are still strong and contracted, so please do that at home as well. Keep your hands glued to the floor. Know that at any time you can stay here in your puppy pose, but I'll encourage these two to now lift your knees up off the floor and come into downward facing dog. Hold your down dog for 2 deep breaths. On your inhale, bend your knees softly, look forward towards your hands, and as you exhale, step, walk, or hop lightly to the front of your mat and fold over your legs. Hinging from the creases of your hips, as you inhale, stand all the way up. Reach your hands over your head, look towards your hands, and on your exhale, guide your hands back down at heart center. Well done. Just pause for a moment here. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. On your next inhale, circle your arms over your head and look up once again to your thumbs. As you exhale, hinge from the creases of your hips and fold forward to either touch your shins or reach for the floor. As you inhale, look up halfway and lengthen your spine. And on your exhale, once again, fold into your deepest forward fold. As you inhale, step back to your high plank position. Continue to move your shoulders forward on that same inhale, and then exhale as 1 unit all the way down to your belly. Point your toes, press your pelvis into the floor, and as you inhale, pull your chest forward and up into cobra position. And exhale, this time push back to puppy pose or right to downward facing dog. Good, hold your down dog and take 3 to 4 breaths, deep breaths. Give your head permission to relax here. For good reasons, on occasion we want to line up our ears with our elbows, but at this time I'd like for you to just relax your head and let it hang towards the floor, just so we can release any tension through the sides of your neck. To assist in that process, try to relax your jaw a little further. Simple reminders, but in my opinion, useful ones. As you inhale, bend your knees and look forward to your hands. And as you exhale, step, walk, or hop lightly to the front of your mat and fold over your legs. Inhale, stand all the way up, reach your hands over your head, look towards your thumbs. And on your exhale, fold your hands at heart center. We'll do just simply one more like that. Inhale, reach all the way up, look towards your hands. On your exhale, hinge from your hip creases and come down to touch your shins or reach for the floor. Keep your legs strong as you inhale, look up halfway. And exhale, fold once again. As you inhale, step back to your high plank position. Continue to inhale as you move your shoulders forward of your wrists, and exhale, lower to your belly. Point your toes back, press your pelvis down, and on your inhale, pull your chest forward and up. And that forward motion is important to contract the back muscles. Exhale, press back to your puppy pose or to your downward facing dog. Again, hold your down dog with a relaxed neck, a heavy head, and breathe in and out through your nose. It's absolutely fine in your downward facing dog to bend your knees. Often a bending of the knees and a lifting of the heels will help get your hips a little higher and create further length in your spine. Let's do one more big breath in and big breath out. On your inhale, please bend your knees and look forward to your hands. And as you exhale, step, walk, or hop to the front of your mat and fold over your legs. Lead with the back of your head. Inhale, stand all the way up, reach your hands to the ceiling, look up to your hands, and exhale your hands down at heart center. Well done. So please turn to face the windows here. Step into the middle of your mat and take your arms out to a T position. Once your arms are out to a T position, step or jump your feet out until your ankles are below your wrists. So we're looking here that the ankles are below the wrists. So sometimes that means we just look at our wrists and then look down at our ankles. And both these lovely practitioners have done a great job. Now the second place to look at is your heels. Look down at your heels and line up your heels with each other. Often on days where I feel like that's just too much of a hassle, which is often. You can bring your heels back to line up with the back edge of your mat. Well done. Take your hands just onto your waist for a moment, and please turn your right foot towards the right. Then line up your right heel with the arch of your left heel, or your left foot. There you go. Now inhale your arms out to a T position. Take a big breath, so you should feel a lift in your chest when you do that. And exhale, bend deep into your right knee till your knee comes over your ankle. Yes, great. Keep your knee over your ankle. And often what tends to happen is that you'll lean forward a bit. So keep your knee over your ankle, but pull your backhand back until your shoulders come over your hips. There you go. Gaze softly over your right hand and take deep breaths. From an external perspective, this is such a common shape, a shape we see so often in yoga. But in my experience, this is a hard shape. Would you not agree? Yes, this is hard, especially when you're doing it as well as these two are. So don't hold your breath. Breathe deeply. And I promise I'm just going to hold you here for one more breath. That's it. Good. On your exhale, take your hands to your waist, straighten your right leg, and then turn your feet around to the other side. Good. Pause, line up your left heel with the arch of your right foot. Inhale your arms out to a T position till you feel a lift in your chest, and then exhale, bend deep into your left knee. And we're not only looking for the knee to come over the ankle, but you're looking for the front of your knee to track in line with your second and third toe. Just like you did before, stay deeply bent into your front leg, but pull your shoulders back over your hips and gaze forward over your front hand. Yes, I always find in standing shapes like this, I get really serious in my face. So try to relax your face. Yes, a little smile helps. And then a few more breaths, breathing in. So similar to our sun salutations, standing postures like this, work the big muscle groups in your leg, which helps warm up the body. So it'll assist us when moving into some further or deeper stretches. Then take your hands to your hips as you inhale, straighten your left leg, and on your exhale, turn your left foot forward. Again, so now both of your feet are parallel to the sides of your mat. Good job. Keep your hands on your waist, and as you inhale, not only pull up on your chest, but squeeze your legs energetically towards each other, as if you were trying to crumple up your mat from the power of your legs. Then keeping the strength in your legs, take another breath in and lift up through your chest. As you exhale, hinge from the creases of your hips and bring your head down towards the floor. Just keep your hands on your waist for a few breaths here. Squeeze your shoulder blades gently towards each other and grow long through the back of your neck. Now, if you're anything like me, the tendency here is that I'll bear all the weight of my body back into my heels, which over time can overstretch your hamstrings. So it's really important to shift your weight evenly into the four corners of both of your feet. So you may find in the beginning, as you shift forward, that not only the quadriceps will engage further, but it'll almost feel like you're falling on your head. And that's actually a good indicator that you're right at that balancing point. All right, keep your hands on your waist, lead with the back of your head, and as you inhale, please stand all the way back up or lift your chest away from the floor. And then exhale, just from the tops of your shoulders down. Now turn your heels in towards each other, so your toes and feet are turned out slightly at 45. Great, bend your knees quite generously and slide your hands down your legs to bring your elbows to your inner knees. Great, yep, and you can hold on to your ankles or your lower shin bones. Now press your elbows back into your knees. Press your elbows into your knees until you feel a stretch in your adductors and the inner groins there. Good, you can look down towards the ground, just maybe at the crease of the wood floor here. And the tendency is that you'll tuck your tailbone under, often because that's a little easier, but I want you to do the opposite. Actually tilt your pelvis forward until your sit bones lift up, and that will increase the stretch in your groins. I know this is a good one. You're doing great. The very stoic face is on camera. Yeah. All right, take your hands to the floor, and as you inhale, straighten your legs. And I highly recommend a little groan. Oh yes, well done. Now keep your toes turned out, but heel toe your feet a little wider. Go a little longer with your stance. Yes, great, pause right there. That's good. Inhale again through your nose. And this time as you exhale, bend deep into your right knee. And as you bend deep into your right knee, pivot on your left heel and lift your left toes to the sky. Good, sink your bum down a little closer towards the floor. And just like we did a moment ago, take your right elbow to your inner right knee and push it away to increase the stretch on the right leg. Yes. Also, just like we did in that standing wide leg forward fold, draw your legs energetically towards each other to keep a lift in the pelvic floor. Yes. One more big breath. Keeping your hands on the floor to support you as you inhale, lift your hips up. And on your exhale, just switch to the other side. I say just like it's so simple, and I know it's not. So as you bend deep into your left knee, pivot on your right heel and let your right toes come up. Yeah. Bring your left elbow to your inner left knee and just push gently your knee away. Good. Breathe in and out to your nose. That's wonderful. So you see in two really capable practitioners of yoga that the shape looks different. So don't be obsessive about the way your body looks in the shapes. Instead, come into that place of feeling. What are you feeling? Keep your hands on the ground. I love it when my teachers let me do it again. Let's do it again on the other side. So shift over back to the right side. Bend deep into your right knee. Right elbow to your inner right knee. Left toes lift up. You got it. Now pull your legs as close or draw them energetically as much towards each other that you start to not only feel a continuously lift in your pelvic floor, but you may start to feel a little more confident in the hands, where you could lift the hands to heart center. Nice, like Greg's doing there. Yes, wonderful. One more big breath in. And as you breathe out, bring your hands to the floor. And then last side, lifting all the way over to the left side. Bend deep into your left knee and lift your right toes to the ceiling. You got it. As you sink your hips down towards the ground, again, press your left elbow into your inner left knee. And not only will that increase the stretch in the groin, but it'll also keep that front knee pointing in line with your second and third toe, the eye of the knee, you could say. As you draw your legs towards each other, if it feels appropriate, and your body will tell you, bring your hands to heart center. Yeah, so it's drawing the legs together, lift the core girdle muscles, which will give you the confidence to make that move. Well done, you two. Hands to the floor, lift your hips all the way back up, straighten both of your legs, little sigh. Good job. Turn your feet in, so they're now your toes in, so your feet are now parallel to the sides of your mat. Take your hands to your waist. On your inhale, hinge from your waist and lift all the way up, or hinge from your hips. Good, and then exhale here. Bring your arms out in front of you like little genie arms. Take a big inhale through your nose, bend your knees, and on your exhale, jump your feet together and slam your hams by your side. Good, it's kind of fun. Just shake out your limbs for a moment, shake out your hands and your knees. Good job. Now turn to face each other here at the top edge of your mat. It was really good. Stand with your feet about inner hip bone distance apart. And for this next one, both of them are quite flexible, but I'm just going to use the bricks or the blocks here just for some support. And it's also a nice indicator that something you could do as well. And it's often really nice to prep it ahead of time. So as you inhale, circle your arms up over your head, please. And on your exhale, hinge from the creases of your hips and come down just to touch the brick or the block. It's kind of fun to call it a brick. Yeah. Bend both of your knees quite generously. So a good few inch bend in the knees. And then take your right leg and stretch it straight and reach your right arm up over your right shoulder. I had to connect with my brain there for a second. Yeah, so just, keep your foot on the floor, but straighten your right leg, just straighten your right leg, and then take your right arm up over your right shoulder. There you go, good. See, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Take your chin out of your chest and grow long through the back of your neck. So you're keeping your left knee bent, which will help you tilt your pelvis, and as the pelvis becomes a little more asymmetrical, you'll be able to turn your chest towards that side. Good. Often what tends to happen is that we'll move our hand back further than the shoulder, and it's not that that's bad, but what will happen is that over time it can hurt the shoulder. So if you bring your hand slightly forward and then pull your shoulder back, yes, then the hand will naturally follow. It's kind of like the dog wagging the tail versus the tail wagging the dog. On your exhale, release your right hand back down onto the brick and rebend your right knee, please. Good job. Now on your inhale, straighten just your left leg and take your left arm up over your left shoulder. There you go, spread your fingers. Not only are you bending into your right knee to tilt the pelvis, but you can actually bear weight into that foot as well. Yes, chin out of your chest, grow long through the back of your neck. Nice, Greg. Big breath in through your nose. And on your exhale, rebend your left knee and take your hand back to the brick. Good job. Turn the brick and actually move it to the outside edge of your left foot. Move it to the outside edge of your left foot. There you go. And then just leave it there and stand all the way up with a big breath in. Good, yes. Bring your palms together and on your exhale, interlace your last 3 fingers like your little love pistol to the ceiling. Yes, good. Now bend your knees a good few inches and I'll turn from the side so you can see all of us on the side. Keep your knees bent and now draw your tailbone down and pull your lower belly up and back. Good, keeping that action. Now stretch your legs straight and reach your fingers to the ceiling. On your exhale, hinge over towards the right. So lean to the right and press your left hip to the left. Good. Pause here, squeeze your arms tight and continuously pull your navel back. Yes, good. One more breath. Keep drawing your tailbone down as you inhale. Bring your arms straight up to center. And on your exhale, lean to the left and send your right hip to the right. Great. Keep squeezing your arms tight, drawing your navel towards your spine. Stay here, full breath in. Stay here, full breath out. And then inhale, come all the way back to center. And on your exhale, release your arms down by your side. Good job. Give the shoulders a little wiggle and a jiggle. Yeah, nice. Inhale, stretch your arms one up over your head and reach towards the ceiling. Look up. Exhale, hinge from the creases of your hips and come down to fold forward. Great. Place your left hand on your block. Left hand on your block. And step your right leg back into an exceptionally long lunge, please. Turn your right heel down to the floor. So now your back foot's at a 90-degree angle. And just like we were in the other standing postures, line up your left heel with the arch of your right foot. Let's do this. Turn your brick so it's up nice and high. And it's not to say that you're gonna need it this high, but it's just nice to start in that variation. Look, you're already doing it. They know where I'm going. Take your right hand to your waist or your hips. Good, and turn your chest to the side. So now the shoulders are stacked over top of each other. Well done. Take a big breath into your nose and a big breath out. Now press the outer edge of your left knee into the inner edge of your left arm. And again, now we're working the same principles we have all class. The front of the knee is in line with the second and third toe. Greg and Vanessa are going to work really hard to keep the knee pointing in this direction, but now they're going to straighten that front leg, which is hard work, but they're as strong and can do it, and so can you. Good, keep lifting your kneecaps, keep lifting your quadriceps. That's beautiful. Now take your right arm and stretch it straight up over your right shoulder. Breathe in and out to your nose. Those are some nice looking triangles. And you'll see Greg move the block back. That's fantastic. And Vanessa can do that too. Move the block back just a little bit so it's directly below the shoulder. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more just like this. Inhale. And exhale. Good job. Take your right hand back to your hip. Bend into your left knee and just turn your body to the floor. Place your right hand on the mat and pivot on the ball of your right foot. There you go. You can place your left hand on the floor just so you have more support, and then step forward to the top edge of your mat. Fold over your legs as you exhale. Well done, you two. All right, let's move the block to the other side. Take your left leg and step it straight back behind you, please. And turn your left heel down into the floor. So your back foot's once again at 90 degrees, and your right heel draws a straight line to the back left arch. Great. Take your left hand to your waist or your hip when you're ready. Good. Pause for a moment with the knee deeply bent. So this is a variation of side angle posture, a useful shape, as they all are. And then draw your left shoulder back so the shoulders are stacked and your chest is turned to the side. So really we are in the basic form of the shape. We just need to work that front leg straight. So keeping in mind that you want the outer edge of your knee pushing into the inner edge of your arm to keep the knee guiding straight. Now slowly work your front leg straight by lifting your kneecap and engaging your quadriceps. Yes, oh, so strong. Then take your top hand up over your top shoulder. Good, lean back. Long through the back of your neck and breathe in and out. And we just let the time in the shape take over, which will help us sit heavily in the benefits of the posture, but also allow us to just use the shape as a way to get into ourselves, to feel, to connect in that way. Good. On your exhale, bring your left hand back down to your hip. Bend into your front knee, and then place your hand on the floor and pivot on the ball of your left foot. Well done. Move the block. Oh, they did it. It's like they knew. Both hands to the floor, and then step back to your downward facing dog. And just let out a nice big exhale once you're there. Well done, you two. Big breath in, and big breath out. And slowly walk your feet up to the middle of your mat. And then separate your feet to the width of your mat. Bend your knees and sit down for a squat. Yeah, for most of us, we need to turn the toes out slightly to accommodate the hips as we come down. Yeah, you can bring your hands together at heart center and then use your legs to create more stability in the hips, which will help create more spine. So press your elbows out into your knees. And keep that as you now draw your knees in towards your elbows or your outer arms, depending on how low you are. Then using that in and out contraction, grow longer through your spine and try to pull your chest closer to your thumbs. But breathe in and out through your nose. One more breath. Now, place your hand, one hand, and then both hands down and sit down. Just went from good to great, yes. All right, move just a little bit closer to the top edge of your mat. Bring your right leg forward and take your left leg back behind you. And we're gonna do what's actually called Z pose, or at least what Max Strom calls a Z pose. So right leg forward, left leg back. And then as you bring your right leg forward, bend the knee so it's at 90 degrees. And your right knee, move it an inch or two wider than your right hip. Good. You can flex your right foot or dorsiflex it so the little toe edge of the foot is active in the floor. Now look back at your left leg, and your left leg is actually mimicking the same right leg. So move the foot away from the groin and take the knee back slightly behind the hip. Oh, hello. Yeah, often there it is. You don't really need to move much. We're going to change it up slightly. So we'll first bring our attention to the back leg. So walk your right hand a little wider to the right, and then nice and slowly come down onto your right forearm. Good, take your left arm, reach it up towards the ceiling, please. And on your exhale, lean back. Pull your left arm to the left until your chest opens up. And as you lean back into the shape, often it will increase the stretch on your back leg. If you're not feeling much on the back leg, you can move the back knee a little further behind the hip. And yeah, Vanessa's like, I want a little more, yeah. And at the same time, sink heavy down into that hip. So this is where you're gonna tilt your pelvis down and draw the tailbone long, sort of tuck your tailbone under, in other words. If for any reason your top shoulder starts to ache or your hand starts to go numb from lifting up, you can take that hand to your hip and just focus on the shoulder drawing back. So you're turning your chest towards the ceiling. That looks great. You too. Take a big breath into your nose and a big breath out. Are you feeling it a little more now on that, or not as much? Bring your heel in a little closer towards your bum and see if that changes it. Better, worse, or the same? Yeah. How are you doing, Greg? You're okay. All right. They wouldn't say it right now anyways. Yeah. Okay, last breath. Good job. Bring your left arm back down to the floor and actually use it to help you lift back up. Good. Now keep your legs in this position, but now fold forward over your front right shin. There you go. Yes, often it's best to just fold forward over the front knee. That's a good place to begin. But depending on the structure of your body and where your body is open or potentially tight, you may want to adjust it. And you'll see here as Greg walks, the more you walk your chest towards your foot, so the more you walk your chest towards your right foot, the deeper the stretch will be. And we've now changed the sensation. So we've gone from the sensation being in the back leg to now moving the sensation forward into the front leg. And generally you'll feel it along the outer edge of the hip or the leg and up along the side of the buttocks and the hip. That's not to say you won't feel it in the back leg or even across the chest. So just notice where you feel sensation and trust that that's enough. We'll hold here for a few more breaths. Last one, last full deep breath. And then use the floor to your support. So push into your hands and sit up nice and tall. Just when you think it's over, it's not fully over, but we're almost there. Pull your right heel in a little closer towards your groin, so closer towards your body. And then lean into your right hip and sweep your left leg all the way around and place your left foot on the outer edge of your right knee. Yes. Oh, I know, sound effects help, or at least in my world they do. And then sink down heavy into your left hip. If when you attempt to sink your hips back down, if both sit bones can't come to the floor, then there's a few options. First, you can take your left foot just in front of your right shin, or you can even go as far as stretch the bottom leg straight and cross the foot. So just know you can adapt or adjust the posture to serve you best. Yeah, Greg knows, we both know where we're going, right? So take your right arm and wrap it tightly around your left leg and take your left hand back behind you. As you inhale, push into your back hand and use that as leverage to create more length in your spine. Then as you exhale, hug your knee in tightly and turn your chest further to the left. Then you may be able to, and both of these guys can, take your elbow, your right elbow, onto the outside edge of your left thigh. And again, you can use that to help you turn your chest further towards the left. Breathe in and out through your nose. Often in twists like this, we'll turn our head too fast, meaning that what will happen is that the upper body will come into significant resistance, and then we'll feel like we need to turn the head to compensate for going further in the chest. And often that can actually create too much tension in the neck, or can even interrupt some of the flow to the blood in the large vein that brings the blood from the heart up into the head and from the head down into the heart. So it's important to always know to let the chest lead the twist, and your shoulders move and your ears can stay over line of your shoulders. All right, I've held you here a long time. As you inhale, just come back to center. Bring both hands down. Stretch both legs straight. One of my favorite things, just shake out your legs. Yes, good. Well done. Okay, let's do the other side. So left leg forward in a 90-degree angle, and then right leg back behind you, please. Yes, nice. So again, you just take a moment to line up that knee. Don't be. So the knee is an inch or two wider than the hip. The front shin is parallel with the top edge of your mat, and you're dorsiflexing your foot enough that the little toe edge of your foot's digging into the floor. Good, and then bring your right leg a little further back behind you, as long as the hip will allow. Well done. Walk your left hand a little more to the left side, and nice and slowly come down onto your left forearm. So we're gonna go, yes, great. Then inhale, reach your right arm up over your right shoulder and pull that shoulder back as you pull your right shoulder towards the floor and turn your chest up towards the sky. Yeah, good. Breathe in and out. Are you feeling it here in the back leg? How about you, Greg? Are you feeling it in the back leg? Okay, good. Nice, long, slow breaths. This is one of the only shapes in the yoga repertoire. Of course, there are always exceptions and people making up new shapes, which is very cool. But this is one of the shapes that I practice where we're doing an external rotation in the front leg and an internal rotation in the back leg. And we need both of these rotations and range of motions to keep the hips healthy and the spine active and healthy as well. And one of the reasons why I like to start with the back leg is if you're anything like me, I find internal rotation of the hips a little bit more challenging. On your inhale, bring your right hand back to the floor and just use that hand to help you push yourself back up, and then transfer your weight forward over your front left shin. And again, feel free to start just leaning over the knee, knowing that that's a nice place and often a place where you can just check in with yourself and see if it's appropriate to go further. And your sensations will tell you. So if it is appropriate, you can start to walk yourself a little closer towards your left foot. And the more you bring your chest towards your foot, often the deeper the stretch will be along the side of your leg and along the outer edge of your hip or your buttocks. If you're anything like me, you need loving and constant reminders to relax the sides of your neck, relax your jaw, soften your tongue, even soften your eyes, and come back to the fluid flow of breath. In and out. Breathe in and breathe out. Just about 4 to 5 more breaths there. Last one, full breath. As you inhale, push through your hands and sit up nice and tall. As you exhale, bring your left heel in a little closer towards your body, towards your hips. Then stay heavy on your left hip as you bring your right leg all the way up and around your left knee. Keeping in mind our bodies are very much asymmetrical. So as you sink your hips down evenly towards the floor, so both sit bones are sitting down, if that doesn't naturally occur, you can't seem to get the other hip down, then you can bring your right foot in front of the shin or stretch the leg straight. All right, take your left arm, wrap it tightly around your right leg and take your right hand behind you. As you inhale, push into your back end and sit up as tall as you possibly can. And then keep that length as you exhale and turn your chest towards the right. Good. After you find, oh yes, hello. After you find the twist or the depth of the twist that's appropriate, know that you're welcome to take the left elbow to the outside edge of your knee. And you're also welcome to just stay here, hugging the knee too. Breathe in and out to your nose. Allowing the twist and the shape itself just to do the necessary work of taking us deeper into ourselves, taking us deeper into the breath. Last one. Good job. As you inhale, please turn back to center. And as you exhale, stretch both legs out in front of you and just give your legs a good shaking. Yes, well done. Okay, so this next one, I like to think is a bit of an unorthodox approach of a forward fold, a seated forward fold, but I find it's accessible for most, and in my experience of doing this in my own body and also working with other people, is that it also helps us get that deep, intense stretch up along the back side of the body, which is what we're looking for. So what I'm going to have you do is actually scoot your bum forward a little bit, and then take the front edge of your mat and fold it back so that your feet are on the floor. Then you're going to take one of your blankets, or you can use a towel, it doesn't have to be much, and you're actually going to place your feet on the blanket. You can even just put your socks on at home if you have a hardwood floor like this, and use that. We're looking for something slippery. Now bring your knees and your feet together and lift your toes up, kind of like go-kart feet, you know, like you're rawr, rawr. Yeah, so lift your feet up. Yeah, there you go, so you're just on your heels. I know, it's kind of fun. Then grab onto your strap, take your strap here. And again, you don't have to use a strap. You can hold the feet if you have that at home, or again, you can use a belt or your bathrobe belt for this. Yeah, so now place the strap around the balls of your feet and hold onto the strap pretty close towards your feet. Yes, but pull back on the strap enough that you can pull your chest forward and draw your lower back in. So you see now how they have these nice long vertical spines, which is what we're looking for. Now keep your belly and your thighs as close towards each other as you can. And as you keep your belly and your thighs towards each other, very slowly, like little inchworms, start to kick your feet out, and you'll slide on the blanket or the towel until your legs get straight. And you're just gonna work enough. You're just gonna slide forward enough that you can keep your belly and your thighs close, but you can also start to feel that deep along the backside of your body. Good, I'm gonna have both of you widen your elbows to the side and then pull your shoulder blades closer together, which will just take that stretch often from good to great. Then hold here and breathe. Now the actions are continuous. So you're continuously pulling on the strap to bring your chest and belly forward, but at the same time, you're pushing the balls of your feet into the strap to create further length in your legs. Hold here for a few breaths. You'll see both Greg and Vanessa are looking forward. As they keep this little curve in their cervical spine, it will also help create a little curvature in their lower back, which will increase the stretch. Let's be honest, it's a good stretch, yeah? Last full breath. Well done. Just release the tight grip around the strap and sit up nice and tall. Oh, yes. Did you like that as much as I did? Oh, good, you liked it. I like that one. I find it can get deeper too. So you can move the straps to the side. You get your feet off the blankets. And then just move the mat flat on the floor once again. It gets even better. Lie down on your back. Yes. Great. So pause for a moment, just take a big breath in and a big breath out. Good job. Bring your legs in a little closer towards each other, and then bend both of your knees and plant your feet on the floor. Good. Take your arms out to a T position and turn your palms to face up. That will just encourage an opening through the chest. Now lift your hips up and move your hips to the left. Move your hips, lift them up, move them to the left, place them down, and then take your knees over to the right. There you go. Gather your knees higher up towards your right arm and either hold your knees in place with your right hand and look over your left shoulder. I got you one right here. There you go. The reason why we moved our hips over to one side and the knees in the opposite side is so that when we move the hips to that side and then carry the knees in the opposite direction, that you're now truly resting on the outer edge of your hip. So you're truly on the outer edge of your right leg at this time. If you haven't fully done that at home or you're not on the outer edge of the hip, you can always sweep the hips a little more to the left to create that action. Just a few more breaths, not holding this that long. Look back to the ceiling, and as you inhale, bring your legs through center. Adjust your hips, so keep your feet on the floor as you now sweep your hips over to the right side and take both knees over to the left side. And once you're there, gather your knees a little higher up towards your arm and just hold your knees in place with your left hand. Press down to the opposite shoulder, that's your right shoulder, and gaze over that side. Nice, long, slow breaths here. And 2 more. Look back to the ceiling if you're gazing to the right, and as you inhale, bring your legs all the way back through center, please. And then use your feet to help square off your hips. Separate your feet so they're about inner hip bone distance apart. And now bring your arms straight by the sides of your body. So your hands are by the sides of your hips. Once again, turn your palms to face up towards the ceiling. Push the back of your head down, push your shoulders down, and press down evenly into the 4 corners of both of your feet. Keeping those contact points as you inhale, now lift your hips up into the air. This will be our last pose, bridge pose. Draw your shoulder blades a little closer towards each other, and if you'd like, you can interlace your fingers under your back. I'm actually going to give Vanessa a strap here, which is a nice option if you have your belt close by. So you can hold on to the strap and use it the same way you would by clasping your hands. Now use every section of your body that's touching the floor and push it down into the floor to help create more lift. Then at the same time, press to the inner edges of your feet as much as the outer edges to keep your knees tracking in line like we have all class. Good, there's 1 more full breath in. And as you breathe out, release the clasp of your hands, release the strap, and slowly lower yourself back down onto the mat. It's always nice to end in a symmetrical shape. It's great for the nervous system to help keep us grounded and balanced. It's also good for the body. If we've created any imbalances from some of the asymmetrical shapes, the shapes we did just one side and then the other, that this often can help us settle more. From here, lay down completely flat, so let your legs come out in front of you and your feet come out a little wider than your hips. You can keep your arms as they are with the palms turned up and close your eyes. And this is probably the most important shape in all of our yoga classes, Shavasana or corpse pose. It's a time to just consciously let go. So take a moment here to let the outer edges of your body soften in towards the floor. To let the sides of your jaw relax. Let your eyes sink a little heavier into the eye sockets. And if you're anything like me, you just need a little bit of permission to let go and to soften into the floor. Permission to relax. From an external perspective, this is such a simple shape. In reality, it is. But often we underestimate the power of simplicity. So I'll leave you here, encourage you to stay as long as you need to today, to rest and restore. As always, thank you for chiming in here with us at yoga.tv. Namaste.